Salvation of your
1 minute to the hour of 6. Compliments of the good folks at Caribbean Alliance. Hoping that you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. Thanks, of course, for joining me, DJ Halo Boy, live on DBS. We had Royat this afternoon. We had a beer. Thank you very much. Look out for the next Calypsonians coming through. Of course, it'll be posted up on the social medias early enough so that you guys can tune in. Thanks again, guys. Hey, guys, the news comes up next right here on DBS Radio.
what they learn, the effects linger on. If bullets replace books, teaching bloodshed to children will raise a gun generation on the brink of extinction.
Always a better choice. My one and only station.
DBS Radio. Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, the U.S. State Department announces an indefinite suspension of visa processing for 75 countries. In news from the region, Venezuela's acting president vows to continue releasing prisoners detained under Nicolas Maduro. And internationally, Danish minister says a fundamental agreement remains after frank Greenland talks with U.S. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when we return.
It's in the feeling and how we talk. It's in the meaning and our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are.
News.
Welcome back. The United States said today it was suspending the processing of immigrant visas for 75 countries, including 11 from the Caribbean, effective January 21. The decision was outlined in a memo circulated on January 14, which said the suspension is part of a broader effort to clamp down on visa applicants deemed likely to become a public charge. The Caribbean countries affected by the U.S. decision are Dominica, Antigua, Barbados, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Cuba, Belize, Haiti, and Bahamas. Among countries affected are Afghanistan, Algeria, Brazil, Bangladesh, Uganda, Russia, Pakistan, Nigeria, Ghana, Sudan, Iran, Ethiopia, Cameroon, and Egypt. In other news this evening, Energy Minister Dr. Vince Henderson has reiterated the government's plans to bring Dominica's first 10-megawatt geothermal power plant into operation, a development expected to boost the country's renewable energy capacity to approximately 80%. Dr. Henderson made the remarks while participating in a high-level discussion on reimagining energy at the 16th Assembly of the International Renewable Energy Agency, currently underway in Abu Dhabi. He further indicated that Dominica is working toward achieving full reliance on renewable energy for electricity generation by 2030.
By March of this year, we will be commissioning our first 10-megawatt geothermal power plant. And that is a very exciting opportunity for us. This will take our renewable energy portfolio to 80% of generation. And by 2030, we are on track to ensure that 100% of our power will be generated by renewable sources. That vision took a lot to achieve, and still a lot to be achieved, because again, in addition to the impact of hurricanes, we have to invest in transmission networks, which is absent or dilapidated or out of, basically not fit for purpose in most of the small island developing states, and these investments must be made. So we are moving gradually to achieving that goal.
Energy Minister Dr. Vince Henderson. The Dominica Bar Association has endorsed plans to pass the Legal Profession Act in the Dominica Parliament. The Legal Profession Act will regulate the operation of lawyers and others in the legal profession. Noelis Knight Didier is president of the Dominica Bar Association.
Speaking of public confidence in the legal profession, my lady, we must acknowledge that the bar came under some heavy attack from some members of the public in recent months. This highlighted once more the need for the urgent passing of the Legal Profession Act. The most recent iteration of the draft bill was reviewed by the Bar Association, and we submitted our final report to the Attorney General early last year. We now await his feedback, and are very pleased to hear this morning from the Attorney General that the bill will be introduced during the first quarter of this year. Looking ahead, one of the most significant initiatives proposed by the Bar Association for the coming year is a National Justice Symposium, envisioned as a 2-day forum bringing together all stakeholders in the justice system. The proposed symposium would provide a structured space for candid solutions, dialogue on both criminal and civil justice systems. My lady, such a symposium has the potential to be transformational. It would allow stakeholders to identify systematic challenges, share best practices, and develop practical recommendations grounded in realities. More importantly, such a symposium would reinforce a culture of collaboration, signaling to the public that those entrusted with the administration of justice are willing to engage in honest self-reflection and collective problem-solving.
President of the Dominica Bar Association, Noelis Knight Didier. Manager of the Marigold Cooperative Credit Union, Vincent Simon, has reported that one of the major successes for the cooperative in 2025 was a 25% reduction in the delinquency rate. Simon was appointed manager of the Marigold Cooperative Credit Union in April 2025. In an interview with DBS, he highlighted that the cooperative can boast of a $50 million loan portfolio for 2025.
I took up mantle in April 2025. I came as being the manager of the credit union during some challenging times where one of the most significant challenges was our delinquency, and we also was looking to grow the loan portfolio, etc. And given the, during the time that I have been there, the end of year has just passed, December 31st. We have had some significant changes and achievements, and that specifically being having reduced our delinquency by 25%. We also celebrated another milestone where we got our loan portfolio up to $50 million, and that's significant. And also we had some real changes in terms of our marketing dynamics, and we have Ms. Nanya George, who is also now in charge of marketing.
Manager of the Marigold Cooperative Credit Union, Vincent Simon. President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Her Excellency Savannah Burton, says the opportunity exists to establish a meaningful partnership between Dominica and Turkey in areas such as climate resilience and disaster risk management. Her remarks as Dominica welcomed a new ambassador of the Republic of Turkey, Her Excellency Emir Bagadol Omachi, who presented her letters of credence to President Burton on Tuesday.
Although our nations differ in geography and scale, we are united by a common belief in dialogue, multilateralism, and the peaceful pursuit of development. Your Excellency, Dominica recognizes Turkey's growing role and constructive engagement on the global stage, particularly in areas of diplomacy, humanitarian assistance, sustainable development, and disaster response. These are areas of significant importance to small island developing states such as Dominica, which continue to face the impacts of climate change, economic vulnerability, and external shocks. There exists meaningful potential for enhanced cooperation between our two countries. We see opportunities to strengthen collaboration in areas such as climate resilience and disaster risk management, renewable energy, tourism development, agriculture, education and training, cultural exchange, and technical cooperation.
President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Her Excellency Silvani Burton. Meantime, new ambassador of the Republic of Turkey to Dominica, Her Excellency Emir Bagadol Omachi, says the collaboration between Dominica and Turkey is critical for extending Turkey's reach into the Caribbean region and Latin America.
Dominica naturally forms an integral part of Turkey's outreach to the region. Turkey and Dominica maintain constructive cooperation on multilateral platforms. Turkey further welcomes Dominica's positive approach towards its opening policy to Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as its support for Turkey's efforts to develop closer relations with regional organizations such as the CARICOM and the OECS. We firmly believe that there exists considerable potential to further strengthen our bilateral cooperation in areas of mutual interest, including trade and investment, sustainable development, education, culture, and capacity building. In an international environment characterized by complex global challenges, cooperation and dialogue and solidarity among nations are most important than ever. In this spirit, I wish to reassure Your Excellency of my firm commitment to work closely with the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica to further deepen the bonds of friendship and cooperation between our two countries for the mutual benefit of our peoples. I look forward to contributing to the continued strengthening of the friendly and fruitful relations between the Republic of Turkey and the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Ambassador of the Republic of Turkey to Dominica, Her Excellency Emir Bagadol Omanchi. The Stardom Calypso tent will celebrate its 53rd anniversary this evening, marking over 5 decades of contribution to the development and promotion of calypso music in Dominica. Member of the Stardom tent, Christopher Dangaben, said the anniversary show will feature 23 calypsonians and will officially launch the tent's activities for the 2026 Calypso season.
Tonight we have 23 Calypsonians who will start off officially the night, and 80% of the Calypsonians who will take part in the quarterfinals are from the Stardom Calypso tent. So we are going to be having persons like Royet, Mystery, Mighty D, Trendsetter, Daddy Chess, and Liberator Nashel, Mighty Omi, Observer, Reds, Jamal B, Mika, Checker, Abia, Bingo, Danian, Tasha P, Kafa P, JD, Carissa, and Shallow Flow. These are the Calypsonians who will be taking part this evening. As you are aware, Stardom is an institution of Calypso. We have many more Calypsonians, so we will be featuring some of our other Calypsonians during the season.
Member of the Stardom Calypso tent, Christopher Dangaben. President of the Dominica Bar Association, Noelis Knight Didier, has pointed to strides made by the Ministry of Legal Affairs in strengthening the administration of justice in Dominica. Her comments came at the opening of the new lawyer of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court in Dominica this week.
While we would have liked to see some more dialogue between the Bar and the Ministry of Legal Affairs over the last year, I wish to nevertheless publicly acknowledge some of the meaningful strides made by the Ministry of Legal Affairs in strengthening the administration of justice in Dominica over the past year or so, or two. I would say also that when there has in fact been dialogue, this has proved constructive and productive. One of the major calls that had been made by the bar to the ministry was for the appointment of more magistrates. And we are pleased, as indicated by the chief magistrate, that over the past few months, 3 new magistrates have been appointed, and for the first time in a very long time, we now have the full complement of magistrates appointed. Kudos to the ministry. We also acknowledge the appointment of one of the magistrates as a case manager and the planned installation of the Liberty recording system in the magistrates' court. My lords, my ladies, the case management initiative is actually a manifestation of the positive effect of consultation, because this idea was born out of a consultation, albeit belated, but a consultation among representatives of the ministry, the magistracy, and the bar regarding the introduction of night court. We are sure that these and other recent measures taken by the ministry will directly and positively impact the administration of justice within the magistrates' court and help to build the confidence of the public in the courts.
President of the Dominica Bar Association, Noelis Knight D-Day. That's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
It's in the feeling in our we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. Cause the rhythm of life is bumping. Together going strong. No matter what we keep things going. Before we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrate and come let your rhythm flow.
DBS News.
In news from the region, Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, has vowed to continue releasing prisoners detained under former President Nicolas Maduro during her first press briefing since Maduro was ousted by the United States earlier this month. Addressing journalists from a red carpet at the presidential palace, Rodriguez said the Venezuelan government was entering a new political moment. She offered assurances that the process of releasing hundreds of detainees, a move reportedly made at the request of the Trump administration, has not yet concluded. The releases have drawn criticism for being too slow and selective. And internationally, the Danish foreign minister says fundamental disagreement remains after frank White House talks over Greenland. The Danish foreign minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen, in a joint news conference with Greenland's foreign minister, says it is absolutely not necessary for the U.S. to acquire the Arctic territory and that there is no instant threat from Russia. This comes after President Donald Trump again insisted the U.S. needed Greenland for national security and warned of threats from Russia and China. That's news, the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next with Gavin Richards.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Well, good evening. I'm Gavin Richards with the DBS Evening Sports Report. Let's bowl off with cricket news as the West Indies under-19 head coach Rohan Nurse says while the players are taking some time to adjust to conditions in Namibia, he's confident that the guys can make a big run at the ICC under-19 World Cup. While the West Indies will begin their run in the World Cup tomorrow when they battle Tanzania. That match will get underway at 3:30 in the morning Caribbean time. The West Indies are coming off a crushing win over Japan in their final warm-up match yesterday, while Nurse says he's looking forward to a good showing.
The acclimatization process is still actually going on. Because ultimately, we would have traveled for 2 days and then having a practice session, a shorter practice session due to weather, and then going straight into the first warm-up game. So some players are still going through that process. The conditions here, the climate is quite hot and humid, and being higher in altitude, the air is thinner. So that as well is going through. But I think the players are slowly but surely getting there, and the staff has worked very hard behind the scenes to put things in place to help them, and they are playing quite well. So we're happy with where we're at right now. Ultimately, every game in this World Cup is very important, and that's something that we have been stressing from warm-up games straight through. There is always this value on every game, and going into that first game, lots of emphasis will be on recovery, hydration, given the fact that we would have pretty much had a full game today. And it's going to be very important that the guys start the tournament very well. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the major focuses, that we do hit the ground running.
And that's the West Indies under-19 head coach Rohan Nurse. Let's move to some football news now. Head coach of the national women's football team, Ronnie Gustav, says while Dominica has gotten off to a rough start in their campaign in the CONCACAF Women's World Cup qualifiers, the team has not given up and is looking to end the remainder of the tournament on a high note. Well, Dominica is in Group B with Nicaragua, Guyana, Antigua and Jamaica. Dominica lost their opening match against Jamaica 18-0, and the team is back in training, preparing for their next game against Guyana, which will be on the 27th of February. Gustav says that the team took a lot from the defeat against Jamaica, but confidence remains high in the camp.
Well, I have to say, the togetherness of the team, in spite of the scores, the team never showed that they give up. They were always fighting for each other on the pitch. And we see, our flaws, that we were too slow, we were a little bit too passive, too laid back in defense, where we were supposed to put pressure, we were just withdrawing. But we know the caliber of players we play against the last game there, and we know it would have not been an easy game. I mean, the critics, yes, we are happy for the critics. I know no one wants to see the country getting the numbers that we got, but we have to say that football is played on the pitch, and playing against the level of players we played against, professional players playing in Europe and so on. For example, Bonnie Shaw, one of the top strikers in the world, and playing against Wicked, the girls have seen how they're supposed to be playing at that level, so it was a good experience for us. I think they learned a lot from it, and we're looking to continue building from that. I mean, when you're building a team at that level of players that we have there, it's gonna, everyone to get results, everyone to see a team winning and so, but we are in a building phase, and it's going to take a while for us to get where we want.
And that was the head coach of the national women's football team, Ronnie Gustav. Of course, thanks to Joseph Fadul, who conducted that interview. In some more football news, head coach of the national under-17 men's football team, Euclid Boots Bertrand, says there's still a lot of work to do as Dominica gets set for the CONCACAF under-17 qualifiers in February. Dominica is in Group B of that competition with Panama, Nicaragua, Guadeloupe and Anguilla. The competition will be staged in Panama from February 3rd. Bertrand says that the players have a few areas to work on. The under-17 team on the weekend had an exhibition match with the under-20 team.
Yeah, the performance was okay in the terms that the guys just on the course. We just get into the fitness stage, they moving the ball, and so well. I find today they were kind of sloppy because we had two teams and each played a half, and I find they should have shown a lot more energy in the games, but it was still okay because you're just looking to see them push by the time we get to this week. I think in training we're going to start working really hard because we just cut the team to what it was we needed to be. Okay. Yeah, I think we have a lot of work to do in our defensive area and more or less our fitness because the team came in late too. So we have to do a lot of work with just again our fitness up to par, like game level, because we haven't had a practice game before this one, and then we need to just get some tactical things because the team actually played. Majority of the team was with the U15, so they was in a tournament just a few months back, so they're not that far from competition mode. So I think just getting them to the level where they sharp enough for the tournament.
And that's head coach of the National Under-17 men's football team, Euclid Boots Bertrand. Some volleyball news now as the defending girls champions in the sports division secondary schools under-20 volleyball tournament, the Dominica State College, they opened up their title defensive for a 4-set win over the Pierre Charles Secondary School as that tournament got underway this afternoon at the Pierre Charles Secondary School grounds, where we had the State College winning the match 3-1. In the boys division, the State College, well, they had an easier day at the office as they won their match over the Pierre Charles Secondary School in straight sets, 3-0. There was also a win in 4 sets for the Convent High School B team as they took down the Wesley High School 3-1 at the Convent High School grounds, and the Convent High School A team made light work out of the Dominica Grammar School, winning that game 3-0. Let's go back to cricket news as Daryl Mitchell hit an unbeaten century to power New Zealand to a series leveling win over India in this second ODI today. India posted 284 for 7 with KL Rahul getting 112 not out. Shubman Gill added 56. New Zealand replied with a 286 for 3 in 47.3 overs, with Daryl Mitchell getting 131 not out and Will Young 87. New Zealand won that game by 7 wickets, so the 3-match series is now leveled at 1-1. The third ODI is set for Sunday. Meantime, India's Virat Kohli is back at the top of the ICC men's ODI batting rankings for the first time since July of 2021. Kohli has claimed the top spot for the 11th time in his illustrious career. Let's move to Domino news as Team Denver scored an easy win as matches continued last night in the Dickies and Denver's Bar Domino competition in Jimmet. Here now is league coordinator Delvin Esprit.
Team Denver destroyed Jimmet Stars by 881 points in the Nickies and Denver Bar Domino competition last evening in front of a good crowd at Nickies Bar. Final scores: Team Denver 2,554, Jimmet Stars 1,653. In the other match, Reform defeated United Forces in a very close match by 152 points. Final scores: Reform 2,503, United Forces 1,653. Action will continue on Thursday night at Denver's Bar in Jimmet. That's when Jimmet Stars will meet United Forces and the two undefeated teams will face each other. That's when Team Denver plays Reform. Both matches begins at 7:30 p.m. Delvin Esprit reporting.
We say thanks to Delvin Esprit for that report, and let's bring you some basketball news as 767 Sports Club So What? Well, they're just one win away from capturing the 2025-2026 DABA Paxum Bank Women's Basketball title. This as they stormed past the Detroit Wings in the first game of the finals last night at the Massac Indoor Facility. Gillian Serafin, well, she continued to exercise her dominance in women's basketball. She almost single-handedly outscored the Wings team by herself. She scored 35 points. The Wings managed 36. So What won the game 69-36. Rosilia Regis also scored 14 and Christina Sobers 12 for the So What team, while Valenza John had 12 points for the Detroit Wings. Well, So What captain Gillian Serafin says her team took their chances.
Well, I'm very proud of the girls. Despite the lack of practice, you can see that we do have the talent and we want the win. So we go out there and we get it.
All right, you sort of physically impose yourselves on the game. You know, what would you say were the secrets to success tonight?
Playing together, playing as a team, don't dwell on our mistakes and just make the next pass good.
And of course, the Detroit Wings with so many good players, Colin Luke, Melissa Williams. You know, how were you guys able to keep them silent for game one?
We know their strengths, so just work on that. We break down their confidence and just go out there and do it.
All right, after such a dominating season, one more win away from the championship, how do you intend on keeping the girls focused for that final game on Thursday?
Well, we always take it one day at a time, so we're not looking at it as one more game towards the series. It's just another game. We just need to be focused, put our best foot forward, and do what we do best.
And that's our team. So what captain Gillian Serafino. Let's now hear from the Detroit Wings captain Valencia John, who says that her team has to find a way to combat the height advantage.
Well, what I can say is that, well, first off, we need to start training more as a team. That was our main problem. And I know for a fact that if we start to train together, then we'll do much better.
So what have been very dominant throughout the competition? So apart from training, what else do you think you might probably need to do if you are to get back into the series?
Well, as you can see, is that we have short players and the next team has tall players, so that is our disadvantage. But next game we'll come back stronger.
So let's talk about trying to stop Galen, for example, Seraphin, main scorer for the So What team. How you plan on working on that for game 2?
Well, if we start to come in front, then we can intercept the ball. But still, she's tall and we're trying, but next time we'll succeed.
And that's the Detroit Wings captain, Valencia John. So, Team So What, they're leading the 3-match series 1-0. Game 2 is set for Thursday night at the Massac Indoor Facility. Well, that's where we come to the end of the DBS Evening Sports Report. Of course, I heard the news with Leila Langford. I brought you the sports. On behalf of the entire news and sports department, our links person, DJ Halo Boy, Gavin Richards saying good evening. Remember, Off the Field comes up at 7 o'clock. You want to stick around for that? We'll see you then.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fenced pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening and welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. It is the 14th day of January 2026. We begin with this evening's edition of the DBS Radio Deaf Announcements on the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. We announce the death of Joan Bernice Regis Staber. She died on